Andy, as ever, thank you for your time. Let's quickly look back at last week and away to Harrogate, a 0-0 draw, and probably a game where it didn't look like either side would win it throughout most of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, it was a tough sort of cagey affair with not a lot of goal action from either team. And I think, we're going to find that teams down the bottom are going to not give up anything and make the game tight and tough. And it's for us to unlock them. That said, we equally don't want to leave ourselves open at those games where they're tricky games and get done on the sort of sucker punch. So it become that sort of game. I want my team to be brave. I want my team to be, really bold on what we're trying to do and really, push ourselves to get that win. And we kind of tried it sort of last 10 or 15 minutes, but I need my team to be doing that from the off. Let's take nothing from Harrogate. They've had a good sort of cut of points and results just lately, and that's what they're going to do. And we're going to find that for a lot of teams down there.
And a good positive from that day was the return of Omar Shomi into that starting 11, and he's now got a lot of options at the back.
Yeah, Omar coming back was a positive for sure. I don't think we should overlook a clean sheet. I know it's away to Harrogate, and people will be thinking that it should have been a clean sheet, but clean sheets are important as well. So there is some positives out of the game, and we've kept this unbeaten run going. So there is positives we take out of it, and even the not so glamorous parts of our game that we didn't do particularly well. We've worked on that this week to make sure that we're better equipped and we're learning as well of what we've got to do to break these teams down.
And talking of those defensive options, Kyle Cameron's been on the sidelines for a couple of weeks now. How's he doing at the moment?
Yeah, Kyle's still not fit. He's got a problem with his ankle, so he's still out for a little bit longer at the moment.
Now that these players are coming back, you have got that competition for places, and there now will be players missing out each week who aren't injured and who just don't make the squad.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of the quality of the squad I've got now. When you see people like Carl Jenkinson, around the squad who hasn't been named for a little while. You've got Marcus Dianga still waiting in the wings. That is the beauty of the squad to name just those two. So, that puts us in a good position going into this sort of last quarter of the season. And they all know, that they've got to get in the squad. It's not me leaving them out for any other reason other than the team's doing well and the team's been winning or not been getting beat. So they've all got to keep on top of it and training and keep pushing.
That's a real positive you picked up there as well. Carl Jenkinson making a return, coming on at half-time, and he not only adds that quality and experience and is an extra body, but also allows you to reshuffle things tactically.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think if we go back to last season when Carl Jenkinson got in the team, it was a different scenario he was in. We had an upturn of results and he really showed his quality. And I don't think we should overlook, we take this probably for granted. Carl Jenkinson's been a Premiership player. He's still fit boy, keeps himself very fit. And most importantly for me is his mentality to keep pushing to get in the team, keep pushing and training every day, rather than be sort of a player that's, some players have been at that level in their career and they just come into training, go home. Jenko's the complete opposite. He's pushing the team, pushed himself and wants to get in the team. And that is the beauty of that sort of character we've got here.
It's probably important in the sense that he's played at that level and he has that attitude still because the younger players look up to him.
Absolutely. Look, when you've got Carl Jenkinson, who has been out with the injury he had, who's pushing like he does, who trains like he does, and he's got that desire, and then you've got your Byron Websters, and you've got those sort of players around the group, even Ben Thompson, there's 3 players that haven't been involved for a little while. Ben just recently has, but they train properly. When they're not in the team, they train properly. They do the right things. They're standards are their standards all the time. And that's infectious on the group. And that goes to tell me the professionals of these boys and the culture we've got here.
No Tuesday night game this week, so a full week of training. How's everybody doing this week?
Good week's work. Lads have been really, positive as always. They always are. There's never no doubt about that. And we're kind of ready. We've worked on what we need to work on. We've got a little bit to do just today. And look, we've got the visit of a team that's, other than the last result or two, they've been on good form.
Accrington aside, who've played well this season, and we saw that in the game against them back in December. It was a very, very close game. Could have gone either way, and we ended up winning it very late on.
I say it all the time, Matt, the margins are the margins. It could be one set piece, could be just one ball in the right area and a goal. Accrington have really, in my opinion, done really well. I think everyone at the beginning of the season was tipping them to be one of the favourites to get relegated. They've got an astute manager. They're a good team, with good players, and they've got a style of how they play and an identity. And they're executing that particularly well. I think before the last couple of results, they'd won 7 out of 10. So, and I think also we shouldn't lose sight that they were probably hoping quietly that playoffs is their target, and so that's why we've got to make sure that we're on it, and we make sure we're at home and we're on the front foot, and we really sort of put the pressure on Accrington at the right areas and the right time.
2 home games in 4 days. We talk about the players on the pitch, but it's also the 12th man off the pitch that's going to be so important in this next few days.
Absolutely. I'm hoping we don't have to keep banging the drum of keeping asking the fans to come, because they've been brilliant. And if I was a Bromley resident, I would be coming down to watch Bromley because, we're top of the table and there's something going on here, and we must make sure that the whole town is behind us. And they have been, by the way. I'm not saying they haven't. They have been. But yeah, why wouldn't you not come down and watch us at the moment and get behind the lads on a Saturday and a Tuesday with two particularly good games, in my opinion.
Orlando, we'll catch you after the game. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you.